Guys, isang pinagpalang araw sa inyo. Sa videong ito, ipapakita ko sa inyo yung Senate hearing ng Ways and Means chaired by Senator Win Gatchalian tungkol sa pagbaban ng POGO, yung Philippine Offshores Gaming Operations sa ating bansa. Kamakailan nga sinabi ng Pangulo sa kanyang SONA na dapat ng iban dahil nilalapastangan nito ang ating bansa. Panoorin natin, ano ba itong POGO na ito, ipapaliwanag ng chairman ng PAGCOR papaano ba ito nag-ooperate sa ating bansa. Anong pagkakaiba nito sa ibang mga online games? Panoorin natin ito.
Areas furthest from gaming, such as financial scamming, money laundering, prostitution, human trafficking, kidnapping, brutal torture, even murder. The grave abuse and disrespect to our system of laws must stop. Kailangan nang itigil ang panggulo nito sa ating lipunan at paglalapastangan sa ating bansa.
Today we'll be tackling three bills. The first one is Senate Bill number 63. Authored by Senator Alan Cayetano, and the title is An Act Prohibiting Online Gambling, Penalizing the Placing of Wagers or Bets through the Internet or any form of online gambling activities and for other purposes. And the second one is Senate Bill number 1281, an act entitled An Act Prohibiting Online Gambling and Placing of Wagers or Bets through the Internet or any form of online gambling activities, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes, authored by Senator Joel Villanueva. The third is Senate Bill number 2689, entitled An Act Repealing for the Purpose Republic Act numbers 11,590, otherwise known as an act taxing Philippine offshore gaming operations and for other purposes. The three bills talks about prohibiting online gambling and prohibiting offshore gambling as well. And just as an opening statement, we all know in the past few years, we actually witnessed a lot of criminality stemming from the operations of offshore gaming companies in the Philippines, POGOs for short. We all know about POGOs, and we've been hearing about POGOs and their vices that are propagating here in our country. And based on the information that we receive, let me just show in the slide. Since 2022, there are about 12 raids that were conducted by the Philippine National Police and PAOK, in particular, the Philippine Anti-Organized Crime Commission. Since 2022, these are the 12 different raids that were conducted by the Philippine National Police and PAOK. And just to refresh everyone's mind, in 2022, September 16, Crimson Tulip BPO was raided, and 70 Chinese were rescued. 16 Vietnamese, 2 Taiwanese, 1 Malaysian, and 44 Filipinos were rescued. In September 17, 2022, Lucky South 99. This is the first raid of Lucky South 99 that transpired. Some 40 workers were rescued in that operation. Medyo mabagal lang ho. There. Bagal lang yung aming internet. And then in February 1, 2023, Hongcheng Gaming Technology was also raided, wherein 800 employees were apprehended. Next slide. I think we're having problems with our internet. There. Okay. And then in May 4, 2023, Sun Valley Clark Hub Corporation was also raided, and that yielded 1,090 traffic victims that were rescued. Next. I apologize for the lag because of the internet. Next is Sinchuang Net in June 26, 2023. Sinchuang Network Technology Incorporated was also raided, and more than 2,700 people were rescued in this POGO hub. We also saw some evidence of torture being committed in that facility, which is a hallmark or trademark of illegal POGOs that are operating here in our country. There. In August 1, 2023, SA Rivendell Global Support was also raided. 650 individuals were found in that facility. Next slide. There. And then in August 1, 2023, Smart Web Technology was raided in Pasay City. A total of 731 Filipino and foreign workers were held in that facility. And this is the facility that was highlighted because of its self-contained operation in the heart of Metro Manila. It has complete facilities from KTV, from a prostitution den. There's also clear evidence of torture and illegal detention that was being committed in that facility. In March 13, 2024, Zunyuan Technology Incorporated was raided in Banban, Tarlac. At least 658 foreign and Filipino workers were also rescued in that facility. And again, we also saw evidence of torture and illegal detention. Again, this is the very hallmark of illegal POGOs that are operating in our country. People from different countries are withheld against their will, forced to work, and given quotas to reach, but if they don't reach their quotas, they are tortured and being punished because of their inefficiencies. And lastly, in September 19, 2023, Lucky South 99 was once again raided. This is the infamous and the most latest raid that transpired in Porac, Pampanga, where definitely torture and even possible murder happened in that facility. And because all of this raids and bad publicity, the international press captured a lot of this human trafficking and torture that transpired in our country, in our own shores. Next slide. Because of all of these raids and bad publicity, the international press picked up a lot of these raids and crimes being committed by POGOs in our country. The CNN reported it, Reuters reported it, and because of this bad international publicity, it affected a lot of our efforts in attracting foreign direct investments, attracting tourists, and building our tourism efforts. A lot of this negative publicity definitely affected our image in the international standing. So today we will be hearing 3 bills that are aim to permanently ban offshore gaming or Philippine offshore gaming in our country, or POGOs for short. And there are also bills that aims to prohibit online gambling. And this is something that we want to be enlightened about, and how this online gambling is already operating in our country. But today, the objective of the hearing is to hear from our source persons their views on banning POGOs and also banning online gambling, as some of our senators aim to achieve. And we also want to understand from our counterparts in the executive department, particularly the DOF and NEDA, if indeed POGOs deliver benefits, particularly revenues and also other benefits for our country. The argument to continue with POGO is the revenue that it delivers for our country, revenues that are needed to build other infrastructure, build schools, deliver social services. But those benefits come with a very serious cost in terms of crime and criminality. So we want to understand from NEDA, from DOF, what are the compromises that POGO brings in POGO brings in, and if we allow POGO to continue to operate in our country. And we also want to understand from PAGCOR the operations of online gambling. I know this has not been tackled in the past during our hearings regarding POGO, so we want to understand also from PAGCOR the operations of online gambling and how this is being regulated, and how this also affects our society as a whole. So with that, we will start off with okay, all right. Before we go on to the comments of our resource persons, Senator Joel Villanueva sent his opening statement, and we will just insert this into the records. And let me direct the committee secretary to reflect this into the discussions for today. All right. So we will start off with, and we're very fortunate that no less than the chairman of PAGCOR is here to join us in this hearing, and we appreciate your presence, sir. We will start off with a discussion on online gambling, no? Or online gaming, or I think we also know this as e-casinos. No? Correct me if I'm wrong. Over the past few weeks, we've been discussing about POGOs and how POGOs we've been discussing about POGOs and the operation of POGOs here in our country, but little is known about e-casinos and online gambling. So we would like to understand from PAGCOR this business model, and how this business model contributes to PAGCOR and contributes to our country as a whole in terms of revenue and other benefits. So we call on the chairman or someone from PAGCOR to help us understand what online gambling is and how this is operating in our country.
Maraming salamat po, Chairman, Senator Win, and good morning to all. In 2004, PAGCOR then issued a license to the first company that is involved in e-gaming. That is the company called PhilWeb. At that time, the PAGCOR allowed and gave a license then, that was in March 31st, 2004, to a company called PhilWeb And PhilWeb established branches all over the Metro Manila and other key cities in the Philippines. But back then, for one to be able to patronize the said establishments, one had to physically go to the outlet being run or operated by PhilWeb. Then in the 17th of January 2006, PAGCOR had entered into a memorandum of agreement with a company called Kirchner Games International for the operation of mobile and wireless games. After which, to be able to expand its internet-linked products, PAGCOR entered in 2009, 30th of March, an agreement with Interactive Entertainment Solutions, or IEST. So, those were that was when online gaming started, Mr. Chairman. So, 2004 po, March, and then in succeeding years, every 2 years, PAGCOR would enhance the e-casino business. Then, what happened was that during the pandemic, as reported by the PAGCOR officials who were part of then the EGLD department, Electronic Gaming Licenses Department, during the pandemic, nag-proliferate na po lahat ng illegals. And at that time, there were many companies who were operating brick-and-mortar facilities and offering their services even without the license of PAGCOR. So that was already sometime in early 2020, the start of the pandemic then. Now, in June 11, 2020, when PAGCOR already saw that the gray market was just expanding, the trajectory was just expanding so fast, the then PAGCOR board decided to already regulate and come out with a framework or guidelines to be able to allow online gaming. Very clear, the objective then was to neutralize the gray market. So, that was in June 11, 2020. On the 6th of May 2021, then PAGCOR board approved the regulatory framework for the remote gaming platform, which is the foundation for all the present frameworks regulating online gaming. So, they enhanced what they had approved in 2020 by now approving a regulatory framework to be able to already issue licenses to prospective applicants. So that was already in May 2021, Mr. Chairman. So, part of the framework already was requiring prospective clients to follow the Know Your Customer process. They must submit government IDs, birth certificates, nature of work, source of income, and their latest photos with a valid government ID. So, doon na po nag-umpisa yung panahon kung saan ang PAGCOR po ay binuksan na ang paglilisensya. And according to the officials of PAGCOR who are still with us today, the real intention was then to hopefully neutralize the gray market. So, um, when I assumed in August 2022 the chairmanship and being CEO of PAGCOR, the first thing I did was to look into the regulatory frameworks that were already set up, because so many every day there were so many complaints coming from customers or letters I had been receiving asking or complaining about the proliferation of illegal betting sites, and that they were not being, or the companies that they were betting with were not responding to them anymore. In short, very obvious there that the illegals were already proliferating and that there was no protection from any prospective bettor or customer for him or her to be able to um, complain against the company that they were a customer of. So I looked into it, and with the team of the Electronic Gaming Licensing Department, we strengthened the weaknesses. We saw that there were so many fly-by-night operators. And that being the case, the first thing that we did to be able to eliminate the fly-by-night was to increase the financial requirements, non-refundable application fees, the amount we raised the application from 1 million to 5 million pesos. This is non-refundable. We increased the performance deposit from then 15 million pesos to 50 million pesos. We then increased the capitalization required, paid up capitalization from 25 million to 100 million pesos. We streamlined the application process and all the requirements, and we required for all representatives of these companies to divulge the beneficial owners, because most of them were lawyers and incorporators that we didn't know. And we also strengthened the third-party audit platform and third-party audit company that was in charge of doing the audit of the revenues. Then, Mr. Chairman, there were reports that it was the auditor was able to capture only about 55 to 60% of the transactions being delivered by the licensees. So we also strengthened the KYC process, wherein, of course, only 21 years of age will be allowed to play. And then we also launched our campaign for responsible gaming to be able to balance the act. We had discussions with NGOs. In fact, a very reliable NGO that is helping us today, Seagull's Flock Foundation, just held a very successful international responsible gaming conference held about 2-3 months ago in Quezon City, sponsored by the Quezon City government. So, in all of these, basically, we were able to get a bigger margin of the gray market. Although unconfirmed, Mr. Chairman, the many people say, especially those who have been involved internationally or locally with them, there is about a 200 billion peso market now per annum in the online gaming platform only in the Philippines. More or less. If you will ask me where I'm getting data, we're just putting together all the numbers that we have seen, and we are also in consultation with our consultants. To give everyone an idea, in 2020, when then the PAGCOR board opened the licensing for prospective applicants, the gross gaming revenue then during the pandemic was about 12.9 billion pesos. In 2021, there was a slight dip, or almost the same number, 12.8 billion pesos. In 2022, the gross gaming revenue doubled, more than doubled to 28 billion pesos. And as of end of December 31st, 2023, again, we were able to double again. The business doubled to about 56 billion pesos. Today, from January to June alone, Mr. Chairman, end of June this year, the gross gaming revenue that we have tracked amounts to about 53 billion pesos. So, if truly the market is in the vicinity of about 200 billion pesos when it was unregulated, I believe if the trend will continue, we will have a GGR of about 100 to 110 billion pesos. So hopefully by the end of this year, PAGCOR, because of the regulation and strict implementation of the frameworks in place, we would have captured close to about 55 to 60% of the entire market. So up to the end of 2024, I believe that there is still about anywhere between 30 to 40% of the business being controlled by the gray market. The good news that I would want to report is that in the last 45 days, three big companies involved in illegal operations or who were not registered prior to the implementation of all these strict measures have already come up and have manifested that they already want to be registered and will get out of the unregistered market. So that, Mr. Chairman, is my brief report as to what we are projecting to gain. If the trend continues, we're expecting to gain from the online gaming market about anywhere between 35 to 42 billion pesos from license fees. And this will translate to about close to 40% of the current revenues of PAGCOR. So for 2024, I would like to emphasize that PAGCOR is projected to generate anywhere between 38 to 42 billion pesos in license fees. And That is a lot of money that, as you are all very well aware, close to 70% of our gross gaming revenues are either transferred to the national treasury or used as contributions to nation building. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman, ang may ulat ko generally about. Now, also, General R.V. Villanueva, the head of our security group, would like to share, I mean, through me, that as we are actively pursuing our efforts against the illegal operators, a total of 7,747 illegal sites have been endorsed to the DICT and to the PNP. We have this on record. Maybe General, if you will allow Mr. Chairman, General Villanueva to just give his reports on what PAGCOR has done to counter the illegal operators of online gaming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I recognize General Villanueva, just to put everyone on the same plane, on the same table, POGOs and online gambling, online gaming, these are different
Opo.
activities, correct? Just
Ye-
to be just to
Ye-
make
Opo.
everyone understand clearly.
Yes.
POGO, in short, they get bets from outside the Philippines.
Overseas gaming po, Mr. Chairman.
And then this online gaming is domestic.
Dito po sa domestic
Local,
market.
no?
Yes.
So kumukuha siya
domestic
ng
market.
bets locally.
Yes, domestic market, Mr. Chairman.
But both are operating in the Philippines. Meaning they get
Both,
bets.
yes. Well, the POGO,
The gaming happens here in the Philippines for both. Tama ba?
yes. Well, the POGOs have their offices here in Manila, in the Philippines, and they source their customers from abroad. Versus the difference, no? The international, the e-gaming that we have, online gaming, sources their business from within the Philippines.
And their operation is also here in the Philippines. Meaning
Yes, in the Philippines.
the bets happens here in the Philippines.
Yes, Chairman. The bets are happening here in the Philippines.
The online gaming, do they have brick and mortar casinos or everything happens online?
They
Diba
do not
merong
wala
mga-
po silang physical casinos.
Okay.
I mean, they do not have land-based operations. Except for, meron pong mga outlets lang, but wala pong physical live dealing in the outlets. It's all online. You have online bingo, you have online RNG games, online slot machines, excuse me, you have online slot machines, you have online table card games, but wala pong physical operations na nangyayari dito sa mga outlet na to.
Everything is digital.
Yes.
For example, the bingo is digital also.
Opo, meron po kasing dalawang uri ng bingo. Meron pong traditional, kung saan you see in the different malls, meron pong mga live na nangyayari. And second is meron pong online, wherein you broadcast a live bingo game through the internet. And customers can purchase cards and play.
And the online, but these online games also have land-based counterparts. Is that correct?
Well,
For example, bingo, diba? They have also land-based bingo.
Ayun nga po.
I would assume yung slot machine na digital or online, they also have
well, ganito,
land-based slot machines.
yes, ganito po, no? As I mentioned, there are two classifications sa bingo. One is we see this in the different malls. We have what they call traditional bingo, wherein the bingo games are held in a hall or in a large space where physically customers are there to buy the bingo cards. So that is one. The other, Chairman, is a live game being broadcast to the internet, and through the internet, one can play outside the hall, and they can place or purchase their cards not physically in the site, but outside. So, naka-live broadcast po. With regard to slot machines, there are RNG slots, meaning they are not live slot machines, but rather slot machine games that are provided by slot machine or by game providers. So these are RNG. So physically, you are just playing like random number games. Kaya po tinawag na RNG. And another classification, Mr. Chairman, is the online streaming of a casino with this bingo, with this slot machine, and then that is then brought out through the internet mobile, on a mobile device. So yun po ang But yung physical po, your original question, wala pong physical game na nagaganap sa loob ng mga outlets.
And then you mentioned earlier that one of the rationale for coming up with guidelines, no, is because a lot of these online games are becoming are going underground.
Yes.
Or going gray market.
Yes, and that was the reason the previous board decided to open up to regulation the e-gaming business. Dahil ang lakas po nung brick and mortar operations. Maybe you'll ask how. There are several platform providers that one can just go to and tie up with. You do not even have to have your own platform. There are international service providers that provide all the types of games, thousands, hundreds of thousands of games. And actually, that is done not only in the Philippines, but that is done worldwide, Mr. Chairman.